Welcome fellow pioneers. What you're looking at here is my nuclear power plant setup that I created. This complements the uranium fuel rod production process that provides enough fuel rods to power 10 nuclear power plants. This build has a footprint of 36 by 28 foundations. It can be used for both uranium fuel rods and plutonium fuel rods. It is, however, oriented around the uranium build I have previously done that provides enough uranium fuel rods for 10 nuclear power plants. Specifically, the 100 uranium waste per minute is what will be required for the plutonium fuel rod process, and this allows for a minimal waste power setup when those plutonium fuel rods are sent to the sink. Each plant is supplied by 3 water extractors providing 360 water per minute via a Mark II pipe. This water is 60 per minute extra than what is required. It's easy to build this way and the extra power required is negligible. It is still less power required than one water extractor overclocked to 300 per minute. A balanced 1:5 split has been used on each side, allowing for an even distribution of fuel rods per 5 nuclear power plants. There is a drone port that will supply the fuel rods and another drone port that will take the waste away. The series of 50 industrial storage containers allows waste to be stored initially while you get the plutonium process unlocked and built. This can store 1.2 million barrels of waste. It would take 200 hours of all 10 nuclear power plants running to fill with uranium waste and 2,000 hours to fill with plutonium waste. So you can let the waste build up, and then once you get that plutonium fuel rod process built, you can then send the waste there and start processing it. If you go down this path, my biggest suggestion is that you only turn on the amount of nuclear power plants that you need, because they will generate a fixed amount of waste. So if you turn on all 10, you'll be generating 100 uranium waste per minute. If you only needed 3 nuclear power plants turned on, you would only be generating 30 uranium waste per minute. And it would be quicker to process that existing waste. Welcome back, pioneers. It's that really magical time to bring the uranium fuel rods in and start the power generation process. How exciting. One thing I wanted to point out here, drones need batteries, and as I've explained previously, you need batteries to be delivered to the battery ports of the drones for the drones to transport backwards and forwards. At this facility with the nuclear power plants, you don't need to supply the batteries. Only one end of the drone ports needs batteries supplied. So at the uranium fuel rod location where this drone goes to collect uranium fuel rods, it will receive its batteries there. The same with dropping off the uranium waste to the plutonium fuel rod production process. The drone port at the plutonium fuel rod production process will supply the batteries there, meaning one less thing to think about in terms of battery logistics. Let's get this underway. I'm going to open up the drone port and I'm going to select the pickup of uranium fuel rods to come here. And I have no power. That was my fail-safe. Now that I've added power, this drone is taking off and it's going to collect the uranium fuel rods. It's got to go quite a long way. Let's follow it. Off it goes. It'll be back in a few minutes because there we go. Now it's landing again. Now I could have run conveyor belts, but the whole point of this was having modules. We have a uranium fuel rod module. We have a nuclear power plant module and a plutonium fuel rod module. These could be at 3 separate locations on the map. It's just convenient for the tutorials to have them all here together. We can see the reactors are full of water. They're just waiting for the fuel rods to turn up. A word of warning to the wise. It's time to get that hazmat suit on. Things are going to start to tickle. This is the drone that will be taking the uranium waste to the plutonium fuel rod facility. it's going to start straight away. There's no waste here yet, but it is going to start straight away. And look at that, folks. Plutonium fuel rods are now being sent. You can see some waste already flowing through. This seems to be working fine. So we already had 10 gigawatts of power before we started, and I've connected to the same grid. So we should now have 35-ish gigawatts of power, give or take. There we go. 35-ish gigawatts of power. Beautiful. And you can see waste is being stored there as the drone goes backwards and forwards. The next videos in this nuclear series will show you how you can turn the uranium waste into plutonium fuel rods. These can either be sunk for a minimal waste setup or used in nuclear power plants to generate even more power at the cost of permanent waste. A blueprint of this will be available on the Satisfactory Calculator Interactive Map Blueprints section, as well as the save file will be available to download from the Satisfactory Guru website. Don't forget to check out the Satisfactory Guru website. It's full of lots of tips and tricks. Until then, I look forward to seeing you soon.